In the first video you've seen the tool migrate documents, versions and metadata to SharePoint. Now we're going to have an in-depth look at how this works. To do it, we'll look at how each of the following has been done in the trial environment, which you can download. Firstly, the SharePoint setup, then collating all the basic information about a document, as well as how we can update your ECMS when documents are migrated. This will give us the building blocks. Then it's a matter of selecting documents to go to different sites and libraries and using the tool to migrate them. For SharePoint, we have a site and library with a few fields set up within a content type. Notice I've set up several types of fields, including person or group, date time, and managed metadata. More on metadata shortly. For the trial, I've created a very simple ECMS database called CSW Migration Documents. We'll have a quick look at this. In the document profile table we have our basic information such as title, date and IDs from user and metadata tables. In the version table we have the file location for all versions, as well as dates and user IDs again. Our metadata tables are very simple. The security table maps users and groups to documents, and the user and groups table includes the network ID and a user or group flag. Your ECMS user and group tables will be more complex, but you should be able to write some SQL to pull out just this information. You'll also probably have users who are long gone and may not be in Active Directory. They're actually quite easy to handle. More on that later. Now we move to the actual migration database, CSW Migration SP2013. As you can see on the left, there are a bunch of tables, but we'll focus on the views and introduce the tables as needed. The migration tool uses two views to collate document information. The first one gets the basic information, and the second one the metadata. In the first one, vmeg doc database combines the basic document and version information such as title, description, file path, and the relevant dates and users for profile and version. It also shows the author and a flag for whether custom security exists or not. In addition, you can see the outer join to the migrated documents table. This is used to exclude documents already migrated. The migrated documents table is part of the logging tables, which are related like this. The second document collation view is vmeg doc database metadata. This just collates the metadata. How we map the metadata is by editing table TBL metadata list. On this slide I've added extracts from the two document collation views and from SharePoint. You'll see that the display name column is mostly for your benefit, except that for managed metadata it is the term set name. For the others it's all pretty much as you would expect. For summary, for author, for the old ECM number. By the way, you may have noticed it is the user IDs that are getting mapped, not the names. This is because the tool does some fancy footwork behind the scenes, validating users in Active Directory. Now, if you need to bring document security through, view vmeg security for doc collates security for each document, user and group, including the mapping to SharePoint. I've inserted table TSP rights map here to show how the mapping works. Now, if your ECMS is going to be running in parallel, you may want to set the migrated documents in your ECMS to read only, and update a field to display the SharePoint URL. You have to be very careful in case you need to roll back. So because every ECMS is different, what I've set up is a separate database with a stored procedure that you can edit. This stored procedure backs up the security and then marks a document as read-only and updates a field with the URL. The stored procedure is also called when rolling back, where it restores the security. Okay, in these few minutes we've covered the global setup, setting up SharePoint, collating the document information and updating the old ECMS. Now we want to do some migrating. In part 2 of this video we'll go through selecting documents and creating parameter sets for migration runs, and then we'll migrate some documents.